Derek Acorah was basically a fraud, shown time and time again in ghost hunting shows, where he would do his psychic shtick. He would be fed information by the crew, sometimes by a vet, sometimes by others. He would research a location, or know a location if he'd been there before. And yet, whenever he gave out anything which was correct, factually correct, people at home were assuming, in many cases, a great many cases, that he had somehow got that from his spirit guide, or from another spirit, or some kind of energy in the location. Now, the problem with that is, it's not merely a question of entertainment at that point. It's preying on credulity. So people think this must be real, and when other people claim to have the same skill and seem to do the same trick, that must be real too. In Derek's case, it meant he was making a couple of million per year by selling books and doing many shows, as well as TV money from repeats and new shows and TV appearances and talk show appearances that he would make on a regular basis, as well as appearing at different venues, including spiritualist churches on occasion. So in other words, we're talking of a person who made a considerable amount of money simply because of TV shows that enabled the credulous, but the producers and the executives of TV channels didn't care. They didn't care about publishing absolute nonsense. They didn't care about putting this out there because it got views. And that's the important thing in the end. That's how you get people watching your adverts. In that respect, it is very similar to how the History Channel and various other documentary channels sell out and put out there around Christmas and Easter religious propaganda documentaries. Or for that matter, how the History Channel has put out there for a number of years the Ancient Aliens TV series, which is fundamentally biased and also tends to be full of people who are authors trying to get their work out there, trying to deepen mystery as opposed to actually answering real questions about real situations. That's basically the blanket they're all under. They're about propaganda. They're about selling books. And the TV channels in question, the networks in question, do not care because they are making money from credulous people watching the adverts. And that's the key thing. For people like these psychics who appear on TV, whether in ghost hunting shows or not, it is still the same thing. They can be fed information. They can have plants in the audience. Or if they're just simply reading a place or a person with no knowledge, they'll keep it general. Suddenly they can't quite hear the spirits clearly. Is it a Tom or a John? Oh, I'm getting a J, I'm getting a G, etc. And so as a result, you end up with a lot of nonsense, which anyone, literally anyone, can do. In summation, it's easy enough to say that we could dismiss the entire thing. It might be possible, who knows? It could be a possibility that some psychics could exist. But if we go by what we see on television, I wouldn't say we have any real evidence. And I think that's the key thing. If there's any truth to it, it certainly doesn't come in any form of value or evidence from these sketchy and pathetic paranormalist shows. Just as with Ancient Aliens and other nonsensical documentaries, including people claiming to know exactly what and where were the key points in Jesus' life or Muhammad's life or any number of other religious figures' lives, to claim that's somehow evidence too. You can make any number of claims about ancient locations. And this is the crossover between haunting shows and these documentaries with pseudo-history. But if you don't actually have the actual solid evidence before you, and if you're simply there to mislead people, then what value does it serve? The only real value is gained by corporations who are willing to make money through dishonesty. Because some people are so ill-informed and so credulous, they'll believe pretty much anything they watch. And of course those people who watch such things because they cringe at the dishonesty involved,